Make sure you must have completed previous two steps. 1. Choosing drawing units. 2. Setting the floor plan scale. Now we will see how to start using basic 2D drafting tools in ArchiCAD. What I'm supposed to do is actually I'm going to use this particular floor plan. I will give this floor plan in a PDF format to download in the description. But you can use any other floor plan as per your convenience, and make sure in the beginning we are just going to talk about the basic 2D drafting techniques. Later we'll talk about the actual parametric drafting or the 3D drafting which we can see. So here if you check out in this floor plan, it's a simple bungalow, maybe you can consider that way, and the ground floor consists of, see, it's around about 12 meters by 13 meters out of that. See, if I try to talk about this living room, so this living room is approximately of inner clear dimension as a 4.5 meters by 5 meters, that is 4500 millimeter by 5000 millimeters. So let's see, if I want to construct a single line rectangle in ArchiCAD for this units, how can I do that? So just back to my ArchiCAD, and here what I'm going to do is, first of all I have to load the line tool. Now remember, in ArchiCAD you don't have a shortkeys the way you use normally in AutoCAD. So number of time, if you are familiar with AutoCAD data entry, it will be little bit difficult for you to initially manage with ArchiCAD. But once you become a regular user, you will realize ArchiCAD data entry is also much faster and easier than compared to AutoCAD. So just let's go inside to load this command, line tool command. You can just go inside the pull down menu document, because this particular group carries all the essential tools which are related for 2D documenting. Okay, so here from pull down menu document, documenting tool, and I can load the line tool. Or otherwise, if you just check out that in your toolbox you have a design group or a viewpoint group or document group. Now again, this is as per new release, this grouping is a bit changed. If you work with old release, you just have to make sure in the document group itself you will get the line tool. So here the line tool is there. So single click on this line tool and you will see the change that your info box is now showing with the default setting as a word, and line tool is activated. We will see how to use all these different options which are getting displayed inside the info box related to line tool. Step by step we'll go for. Now the first point which I'm going to talk about is the line tool settings. For example, if you check out at present, the line which I am supposed to draw, its appearance for its line type, it's a solid line, and color wise, that is pen number, it shows some kind of a light gray color. So if you're willing to change the appearance of this line, you can do before drafting also, or afterwards also you can edit it, definitely. So how to enter inside the settings dialog? So there are different possibilities. Either you single click on the line tool icon, okay, you will enter inside the line default setting. Remember, the default setting is a very important word. That shows that you are inside the draw mode, not in the edit mode. So either you can load this dialog by single clicking on the line tool. If you stay on the same tool, you will see one tooltip, setting dialog, Control T. That means what? You just use the control key from the keyboard and then press T. You will see that line default setting is activated. So Control T is a global hotkey. Right? So remember, in ArchiCAD, the shortkeys are not there, because shortkeys you need enter key to be get pressed after pressing the required key. hotkeys are always active. So you just hit the key and you will get the output. So ArchiCAD works with a hotkey concept. Okay, so either you put Control T or single click on this icon, or otherwise on the line tool icon which is inside your toolbox. You can double click on this also, you will get the same option. Okay, so here in the line default setting, that is before drafting, I am doing the setting. So henceforth, when I change anything over here, the new element which I'll construct will be appearing in that format. So you can check out now there are rollouts. So you can see now there's a general setting rollout. If you click on this rollout will close or open. Okay, so this is how the rollouts can be get identified. So close rollout, open rollout. You have a sub rollouts also. So remember how the sub rollout works. Okay, so you can see the arrow which is pointing downward, that means the rollout is open. If it is closed, so here also it is a closed rollout, this is an open rollout. So if I close this rollout, you can see how the arrow is pointing. Okay, so if this is pointing on the right side, that is the closed rollout. If I click on this, and you can see it's a pointing downward, that is open rollout. So here in the general settings, I can change the appearance of the line for its line type, or I can talk about its appearance with the line weight also and color. So you click on this particular color sample slot, you will see that pen set which is available in ArchiCAD is now getting displayed in front of you. Don't worry about designing or choosing the pen set. We will talk about this later when we come to that stage. At present, just for your visual comfort, choose any color that feels comfortable or suitable for your drafting need, because immediately we are not going to print anything. So just go for a comfort, for your visual comfort, I can say. Okay, so remember this color which I have selected, that is 20 number pen which I have selected, to be honest, it carries somewhere red color, and the previous setting is shown over here because I have not done OK yet. So before doing OK, make sure the line which you are going to draw is without arrowheads. Otherwise, you have a possibility of adding the arrowhead before or at the end or on the both end. So that's possible that you can add the arrowheads also. But again, this we can talk about this a little bit later. Okay, so I've just changed the pen number. No properties. I'm going to change anything in the properties option. At the bottom, you can just check out this one layer name on which this element will get added. So this is something different thing in ArchiCAD, that ArchiCAD do have some predefined layers available. This is just because of that template which you have selected. Okay, so in future, if you design your own template which carries some different layers by default available, you can start using them. So by default, ArchiCAD is going to dump this line segment which we are willing to draw on a 2D drafting general layer. So this again I'm not going to change, but you just have to keep a track on these layer names and everything, so you will get familiar with ArchiCAD environment. Okay, just say OK for this now to dialog box, and you will see that change is accepted and you are ready for drafting. So at the top there is a geometry method. You can see there is a single segment. You can keep your mouse, and every time you keep the mouse on the icon, you will get the tooltip. So there's a first option was a single segment, then you have a chained, then you have a rectangle, rotated rectangle. So these are the possibilities you can use the geometry method. Obviously, you can click on the required geometry method. This is one possibility. Or otherwise, you can just press G key from the keyboard, the character G. If you press once, you can see every time you hit G from the keyboard, you are jumping for the next geometry method. So that's the reason if you stay on this any icon, you will get the tooltip, and at the end you can see the G is written in the bracket. So that becomes your hotkey. So remember, these are the standard hotkeys. How to redefine them, I'll let you know later. So if you hit G, you will go forward. But if you hold Shift and if you hit G, you will go backward. So forward and backward, you can go and do this from the keyboard, or you can click on the with the mouse also. Now, if you read at the bottom after selecting the first geometry method, that is single, if you read the lower left corner of your screen, it is written enter first node of line. Okay, so before you load, use this or enter this first node of your line, I'm going to suggest you few things. For example, at the top, you can see there are supposed to be three buttons. One is the guideline button, which is on. I'm going to switch off that by clicking. The next option is supposed to be snap guide and points. Again, I'm going to click on this also and I'm going to switch off this. And the last is a tracker. So I'm also going to click, see, I'm clicking on the button, not on the drop down arrow. Okay, so you just make sure I'm clicking on the button. Now all the three options are inactive right now. So these options I'll add them later, because if I keep them on, there will be some different way the way the software will interact with you. So initially, as a beginner, we will try to close them. We will see their benefits and what you can see how they will be helpful once we do a basic data entry method. Okay, so our first data entry method is going to be by using the coordinate method. So to activate this coordinate data entry method, I have just switch off those three buttons at the top. Okay, and then at the bottom of my screen where I can see there's a X, Y coordinate or RA is written in my this coordinate palette. I'm just I can see there is one delta button. If you keep your mouse on that, it will be written as a absolute slash relative. So whenever you keep that mouse on the delta button, it is either absolute or relative mode. So at present you are working with the relative mode because both the buttons are pressed. Okay, so what do you mean by relative and what do you mean by absolute, that I'm going to explain. So right now, first of all, let's switch off them and take them to the absolute method. Absolute is nothing but with respect to origin. Then you will ask me where is the origin from where I'm going to now draw. If you just keep moving your mouse and if you try to touch to the thick cross sign which you can see on your screen, your X and Y is right now getting displayed as a 0, 0. If you want, you can slightly zoom that by using your mouse wheel button and just make the display comfortable. That cross sign won't be changing its appearance. Okay, so your mouse is getting displayed with a small plus sign known as a crosshair, and this thick cross sign is the origin point. So that is supposed to be 0, 0. Okay, of your coordinate plane. From that you can check out there is a x-axis, which if I travel on the right side, positive x, negative x on the left side. Same way positive y if I travel upward, or if I travel downward, it is a negative y. And obviously the z-axis is pointing on your side, which is perpendicular to the screen. That's the reason we call this as a 2D drafting platform. Okay, so by keeping this point in your mind, now if I want to capture this exact origin, there are two possibilities. If I can go and touch it with the mouse, and you can see your plus sign is now converting into a check mark movement or a tick sign. Okay, so this crosshair of mouse is showing different presentation. So instead of small plus sign, that is crosshair, is now getting converted into a check mark. So moment I see the check mark, that means it's a precise location, something very much you can say accurate. Okay, so either I can go and click with that, or otherwise I'll just keep my mouse somewhere on the empty part of the drawing. And what I'm going to do, listen very carefully, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit X from the keyboard. So the character X I'm going to press only once, and you will see the X field is activated where I'm going to type 0. I'm not going to use enter now. Be careful, I'm not going to use enter. Then I'm going to press Y, and again I'm going to press 0, and only after that I'm going to use the enter sign. So moment I do that, you can see my exact first point of the segment is selected. Now if you read the lower left corner of your screen, it is written complete line. That means you have to complete the segment by adding the remaining coordinates. Now again I'm telling, this is the basic method which I am explaining, that is how to do the coordinate data entry. In future, this is not something which we are going to use, but as a just to know the basics of any software, it is always better to start with such kind of a simple methods. Okay. So now if we are going to complete that 4500 millimeter segment, which is horizontal. So the coordinate wise, its X value. So again, I'm going to press X from the keyboard. I'm going to type 4500, no enter key. Be careful, no enter key. Then I'm going to press Y and the value for Y will be 0 and I'm going to use the enter key. Now my segment is drawn. So if you now try to keep your mouse wheel button and if you zoom it inside, you can see now this is how you have drawn your first segment by using the absolute data entry method. That is with respect to 0 you have done the data entry. Got the point? Okay. So to check this, that is whether we have drawn this correctly or no, there are two possibilities. Now remember, in ArchiCAD, command never gets closed. So still my line tool is activated. Okay, I can draw the next segment. So instead of drafting the next segment, I just want to cross check what I have drawn, whether it's correct for its length or no. So for that, I'm going to use the measure tool. So at the top, there is a measure tool. So you can either press M from the keyboard. You can see that if I keep my mouse on this icon, I'll see the measure and the bracket M is written, capital M. So I'm just going to hit the M from the keyboard. What will happen? My measure tool will get activated. So it's like a hotkey which I have done. Okay, I press the hotkey and my measure tool get activated. If you read the lower left corner of your screen, it is written, click to define the reference point, double click to finish measuring. Okay, so that means you have to start by clicking one point as a reference point, which I've clicked with the check mark. Be careful, I've clicked with the check mark. And then I'm just going to touch to the other reference point. You're not supposed to click there. Just stay there and check out. You will see exactly 4500.00. Okay, so this is the net distance which I have drawn as per my data entry. Now to terminate the measure, either you use the escape key or double click. So if I press escape key from the keyboard, my measure tool will get deactivated and I can still continue with the line tool. But you please complete all this much of data entry and then follow the next step.